we are 7 months later.
Yeah.
We get to kind of review and see, hey, were the professionals right? Were we just full of it?
How did you do?
I think we did pretty well.
I think we did decent.
You want to throw out some topics and
decent.
see where we were at with that, Mariah?
Okay, so some of our predictions when we did our show about the real estate predictions for 2021 at the first of the year were more inventory, more new construction, more motivated sellers, more non-owner occupied homes on the market, and motivated for sell by owner sellers was some of the things that we said we thought would happen. So what do we see?
I think out of those 5 topics, it's pretty correct. The only thing that I'm seeing differently, though, is that new construction inventory. Of course, they're still out there. But the weird part is I feel like with all this development and the shortage of lumber and stuff like that, and the prices that escalated so heavily over the last months, which they are lower now. So we are seeing a little bit more building, but things kind of stopped. It seemed a little stale.
I'm not seeing as many new constructions as I thought. I'm seeing a lot of homes in new construction communities that were sold maybe a year or 2 years ago being resold now, probably because the people bought in these new construction communities and they're just seeing how much equity they already have, even though they just bought the home, which is super crazy.
Which is wild too, though. Could you imagine buying your brand new construction home? Yeah, you had some customizations to it, and then you decide to sell it a year or two later.
You don't usually see that much, but we're seeing it quite a bit right now, surprisingly.
Strange market. Strange market.
Very strange.
But another prediction, though, that we had is those investors selling off their properties, their investment properties. And I have personally been seeing those and personally have been working deals with those. A lot of vacant properties, rentals that became unoccupied during this era. And some people, they just had, a lot of homes. Investors, sometimes they have 40, 60 homes. And as they become unoccupied, they're going to sell them, especially if they're getting older in the age, which drives me to my next point, 55 and older clients. It was crazy. As soon as we did that episode, I promise you, I had a straight cold call sesh because I have a beautiful list of 55 and over general, I guess you could say, I did the areas by zip codes, who's 55 and over, and I just cold called those areas. And I kid you not, there were so many clients that were willing and wanting to sell their home to downsize. And that was really surprising to me. And
despite not having anywhere to go because they know
they were downsizing.
Prices are still high.
Because they had so much equity in their home. So they were basically buying their next property with cash.
Right.
Because they had these 3,000 square foot homes that they were selling for $600,000, $700,000, $500,000. That's a lot of equity. And if they've lived there for 20 years, come on, you can't beat that. So they were putting all that cash down, which was really good. And that was spot on with that prediction. Those 55 and over clients wanting to downsize. Now, when we get into those for sale by owners, I have been seeing more of those as of late. There's been more for sale by owners.
There hasn't been that many up until kind of recently.
Well, because they hit market, and usually if it's for sale by
and they're
owner,
selling so fast.
They are selling very fast. But if it is for sale by owner, they're generally going to be that common average residential family living home. Now, yes, I have seen more luxurious homes being for sale by owner, which is rather odd to me. But with those, I always give them a call and I say, personally, why you want to be for sale by owner originally? And then they give me, well, it's all about the money. Okay, so then I say, well, let's follow the money because we are in an extreme seller's market. So why wouldn't we just raise your ask price to the amount of a commission? I do all the work. You get a full service company doing it for you and a beautiful brand, the Vettrus Crawford Realty, that really performs the way we say we do. And then we get to move on and transition to your next property. What's the loss in that? And then we go and we explore that through our listing appointment and look at what happens. We get their home sold in a month at least. They no longer had to sit on Zillow, have their walkthroughs with non-qualified buyers, and have to hold people's hand through the process.
Right. And then deal with the what ifs of what could happen.
Right. I can't even imagine all the hassles that go with trying to list a home on your own and deal with the looky-loos and all the other things that go on with it. And that would just drive me nuts, much less the money you're talking about.
Exactly. Right. And so when I always say, well, where's the money? I then get to back it up with where we're at in today's market. Right. Now, of course, there's always different markets, but in today's market, because that's where we are at today, what's happening around us? And being that marketing professional we are, there's no reason not to get your home listed with us at the Vettrus Crawford Realty Group.
Right. Another thing to add with the predictions of what we predicted was to add with the more inventory is just recently, I don't know about you, but I've definitely been noticing a lot of homes coming onto the market in Salem and the surrounding areas, Jefferson, all the towns in and around Salem that are like $2 million homes. And we really didn't see a lot of that before. I remember just a few months ago, I sold a $1 million home in West Salem, and that was the only $1 million home in Salem at the time that was on the market. And now we're seeing those pop up. I'm seeing them all the time. And I think it's because everyone's seeing how high everything is, and they're saying now's the time we need to cash out because who knows what's going to happen.
Well, you know what's really cool about that too, though? Imagine there being these $1 million homes. Who's going to occupy these homes? And I was talking with a really good lender friend of mine just the other day, and you would be surprised how rich and wealthy people, how many of them are actually being driven to Salem and Oregon in specifics, which is going to be good for our economy, which is going to be good for our state, but it may drive our sales prices up continually.
That's already happened enough.
Well, we think that we're like, when's enough?
We don't need more of that.
Because I'm just talking with them like, this is getting crazy out here. Why are sales prices so high? Or where's all this money coming from originally? Because the buyers control markets, believe it or not, because they are bringing the money in from the lending institutions for the most part. When we are hearing, well, there's more wealthy people coming to our area, there's something to it. And so I think we're going to see a lot more building. We're going to see a lot more condo living. We're going to see a lot more city
I agree, downtown.
Things going upwards, not further apart.
I agree. More townhouse communities. We've already seen that the last couple years, but
yeah.